Barnstable police arrest a Hyannis woman following a bank robbery. Students evacuate Barnstable High School twice last week after 2 bomb threats were made. And updates are being made to the Payne Black House in West Barnstable. These stories and more on this episode of Barnstable Today. It's Tuesday, October 14th, 2014. I'm Sarah Mannel. A bank robbery in Hyannis leads to an arrest. Police Chief Paul McDonald says officers arrested Shayna Lopes of Hyannis for allegedly robbing the TD Bank on Main Street.
Thursday night, approximately 5:42, we were dispatched to the TD Bank on Main Street, Hyannis, 307 Main Street, Hyannis, for an unarmed robbery which had just occurred. The witness stated a black female had entered the bank and presented the teller with a note demanding $450 in cash. The teller and the witnesses gave us a good description of the individual, and the individual made no attempt to disguise herself or to cover her face. As soon as the officer responded, they were able to immediately identify the suspect as Shayna Lopes, age 32. She's homeless and primarily living in the area of Hyannis. What's unusual about this is that the crews were already looking for Miss Lopes because she was involved in another unarmed robbery on North Street on the same day, where she stole a pocketbook from an individual who's also known to her and clearly identified Shayna Lopes. They had some information that she was somewhere in the area of the east end of Hyannis. The Detectives Division, the Street Crime Unit, set up multiple surveillance teams in the area. They saw a suspicious motor vehicle driving through the area of East Main Street, down by the Cascade Motel. They knew the operator was an associate of Shayna Lopes. The vehicle pulled into Cascade, stopped briefly. An individual dressed in black ran from the bushes, jumped into the car, and then hid in the back seat of the van. The vehicle then left with the surveillance teams. They tried to stop the vehicle in the Staples parking lot. They had 5 or 6 unmarked cruisers there. They boxed her in. They did try to escape by ramming a couple of cruisers, sustained relatively minor damage to the cruisers, and Shayna Lopes was subsequently arrested.
McDonald says her prior record will not be considered during a trial for this offense, but if Lopes is found guilty, it would be taken into consideration during sentencing.
She is facing multiple years in a state prison for this offense, and she's being charged with two unarmed robberies. So hopefully Shayna will be in jail for quite some time.
And Lopes was arraigned Friday morning in Barnstable District Court on larceny and robbery charges. Barnstable police are investigating 2 separate bomb threats made at Barnstable High School last week. Police Chief Paul McDonald says one bomb threat was made Monday and the other was made Wednesday.
To 1 o'clock in the afternoon, the police department responded, the fire department responded, met with the principal, met with the superintendent, and the superintendent made the proper decision of erring on the side of caution and had the school evacuated both times. Then the police and the fire then went into the building, searched the building, and found nothing out of place. The building was cleared, and the students were then allowed to go back into the building. There was a meeting last Thursday up in Stowe, Massachusetts, that was sponsored by the fire marshal. And what that was, what's going on is there are multiple bomb threats being called in across the region, across the state, and across New England, and they're trying to find a common denominator, of what is happening here and how these are all coming in. What we did Monday after the first call, we took some proactive steps and we put a couple of traps on all the phone lines coming into. We do have a possible lead on a phone number coming out of a company out in California through a computer, and we are now subpoenaing their records and trying to get an IP address for that computer.
McDonald says the bomb threats that have occurred throughout New England could be connected.
This particular number was used through a computer software program that actually hides the number. So it's relatively sophisticated, and that's why we kind of tend to believe that they might be all related.
McDonald says that while the response to any bomb threat is always taken very seriously, there is no reason for parents to be concerned. Security officials said during a meeting last week that in all of the bomb threats reported across the country, a bomb has never been discovered at a school. Barnstable police arrest a South Yarmouth man for allegedly stabbing a Hyannis man early Monday morning. Police Chief Paul McDonald says the incident occurred just after midnight.
Individual riding a bicycle heading north on Center Street. A vehicle driven by Marcus Pogue cut one of the individuals off. He fell off the bike. He got up swearing and yelling at the operator. The operator stopped. A verbal confrontation ensued between Pogue and Albert Randall. They argued for a brief time. Then Mr. Pogue got back in his car and drove away. He then turned around, came back. This time he came back looking for a fight. He took out a knife, and he stabbed Mr. Randall 3 times, twice in the chest and one in the arm. These two individuals, they're known to each other. Mr. Randall was in the hospital. Pogue called him while he was in the hospital, apologizing, and Randall said, "Hey, man, why'd you stab me?" And he said, "Listen, I'll give you $1,000. Don't call the police."
Wow.
So it's a bizarre incident. We had a good description of the vehicle. Mashpee PD found the vehicle 2:30 in the morning going through the Mashpee Rotary. They stopped him. There was probable cause for the arrest. They made the arrest.
McDonald says Pogue was arraigned this morning in Barnstable District Court on charges of armed assault with intent to murder and assault and battery. The Housing Committee is looking for a few good volunteers. The Housing Committee has several spots available on its board. Acting Chair Donald Line says the committee acts as an advisory panel on many housing issues.
Basically, it deals with all sorts of affordable housing issues. The state law is Chapter 40B, and developers, if they want to develop more intensely a parcel, they have to have a certain percentage that goes to affordable housing. Some of the housing is sold, and some of it is rental, and there's income limits. But it's so very important. So many of my friends and their children go to college here, or their grandchildren go to college here, and they have to move away. They can't afford to stay here. So to me, it's a very important committee.
Line says for local government to work, it requires active citizens.
We need to get more involved in government. It's not an amorphous thing that affects our life. It's us. And if you don't take part in it, we've got a lot of commissions and boards.
You can learn more about the Housing Committee by visiting the town's website at town.barnstable.ma.us and click on Boards and Committees. Reconstruction work is underway on the Payne Black House in West Barnstable. DPW Director Dan Santos says the house has fallen into disrepair and requires substantial updates.
We had some architectural evaluation done of it by some historic preservation specialists, and they said this is a house worth saving. It's got some nice features, good bones. They say about a house, when it's straight and square, even though kind of looks dilapidated. It has a great fireplace and beehive oven in it, which they've said is museum quality.
Santos says the project should wrap up by the end of next year. Well, it's that time again. As the cold weather approaches, it's time to think about protecting yourself against the flu. The Town of Barnstable Public Health Division is holding a flu clinic tomorrow at the St. George Greek Orthodox Church Community Center in Centerville. The clinics are open to Barnstable residents. Shots are available for just $3. The clinic will begin at 9 a.m. and run until 11 a.m. Drive-through service is available. Residents are asked to not arrive early. You can contact the Public Health Division for further information. Parents and grandparents, mark your calendars. The Barnstable Recreation Division is hosting its annual Not So Scary Halloween party Saturday, October 25th. Kids are encouraged to wear their costumes to the event that includes a trick-or-treat hunt, carnival games, entertainment, and much more. The free event will be held Saturday, October 25th from 11 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. at Barnstable Intermediate School. There are meetings tonight and tomorrow here in Town Hall. The Conservation Commission will meet tonight at 6:30 in the Town Hall hearing room. The Comprehensive Financial Advisory Committee will also meet tonight. That meeting will be held in the Growth Management Conference Room at 7. The Council on Aging will meet tomorrow morning at 9:30 at the Barnstable Senior Center, and the Barnstable Disability Commission will also meet tomorrow at the Senior Center. That meeting will begin at 11:30. The Shellfish Committee will meet tomorrow night at 7:30 in the MEA Conference Room. That's located at 1189 Finney's Lane. Details and agendas for all meetings can be found online at town.barnstable.ma.us. Well, be sure to tune in to our hour-long news program Barnstable This Morning, weekdays at 7 a.m. On tomorrow's show, we will feature our weekly Business Barnstable segment. We'll chat with Finance Director Mark Milne. Plus, we'll have all the news and information you need. For Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Mantle.